Hi, this is Alkemy with the Bulletin Board Heroes here at Zach's Traders Cafe for Monday, the 16th of October. Starting off with the FTSE 100, which is sandwiched between the black 200-day moving average, 76.45, and the blue 50-day line, 75.10. Want to see an end-of-day close outside that to give us the direction for the rest of the autumn, perhaps. An end-of-day close above 76.40-ish would give us a move to the February resistance line there, 77.25. Best case scenario at the moment is at 78.40 or 50, which is the top of that August rising trend channel. It's difficult to work out, given the geopolitical situation, what would do that. And on the support side, 74.45 at the floor of the channel from August. The worst we're expecting at the moment. In terms of the RSI, it's at 54, which is in a good place above neutral 50, so that gives us a bias to the upside. On to the DAX, and here we need a bias to the upside because we are retesting that the floor of that falling May trend channel around 15,000. Above that, we're looking for at least a retest of the recent resistance, 15,500. But below it, we have the chance of this market rolling over towards 14,500 and the March support. And given the time of year that we are at the moment, in the autumn, and October tends to be crash month, then we can't rule out a break of 15,000 leading to 14,500. Moving along to the Dow, and here also a situation where the 200-day line is very much in play. 38,000, I wish it was 38,000, 33,800 there at the 200-day line, and we failed there multiple times. Below that, we have the risk of a test of the one-year uptrend or one-year trend line there, 33,000 as a possible base for this market. RSI below neutral 50 at 44, so that suggests that while we are below the 200-day line, we could and probably will head for 33,000 at some point, even briefly. Moving along to Bitcoin, which has been becalmed over the month of October so far, but looking rather better to start the week, and had a good weekend, in fact, which is interesting. Uptrend line there from January, 26,700. Above that, we're looking for this market to break the 200-day moving average and the 28,000 level to take us up to 30,000, perhaps as soon as the end of this month. We had an RSI uptrend line break, but one can almost adjust that now. We're back above the neutral 50 level as well, so it's been a good weekend for this market. And it would be surprising now if we didn't finally break through 28,000 and head up towards the 30,000 area. Onto the stocks, and rather quiet to start the week. Obviously, I covered a lot of the sizzlers over the weekend, i.e. yesterday. Starting off with Arkle, which has had a bit of jiggery-pokery either side of the 200-day line, the black line there around 0.43. We want to see basically a break here at 0.5. If we can get that, then it could be up to as high as 0.9 by the end of next month. The reason for being relatively optimistic in terms of the upside here is the way that the 50-day line is rising very sharply, and this looks like a bull flag ahead of a move to the upside, and one that's just trying to get rid of the last of the weak hands before a move to the upside. But if you're cautious, you wait for 0.5 to clear and then go for 0.9 after that. On to Alkemy, which looks like it's got a little bit of a bounce going on here. Here it's bounce of the floor of this falling wedge that's been in place since April. The floor there, £1.10 on that support line. Also bounced off an extended uptrend line in the RSI window, so you could argue that's bullish divergence. The share's trying to just get rid of the last of the bears towards the 100 pence level, at least while we're above £1.10, looking for the £1.40 area, which has been the sticking point in the recent past. That's been resistance, I think 140 the resistance since the end of September. We want to see a break of that area to then give us 180 by the end of next month if we go directly to the 140 area this week and next. On to a favourite of mine, largely because I interviewed the company and was calling it higher even before its momentous news. So with that sideways shuffle around the 50-day moving average back in September, that particular shuffle there was the big signal around 1.3, 1.4 pence, sideways above a rising 50-day line. And we gapped up, hit our initial target there at 2.25, and then hit our best case scenario target there at 4 pence. And now it looks like we're going to hit an even better target up towards 7 pence by the end of next month. And that's valid while we hold above the 3.9 pence area, which is that November resistance line from last year. 50 and 200-day lines both rising. That suggests we're in the run-up to a golden cross. That tends to be the strongest part in the cycle. Moving along to Helium 1, where there was a bit of buying on Friday, and there was an RNS today, so you can do the math on why that might have happened. Here we've broken a line of resistance there from back in August, around 5.25p. The gap higher as well. Bear trap gap reversal now, so that means that, or suggests the market is looking for the sweet smell of helium, if it doesn't, I don't think it actually has a smell, but the helium to appear very, very soon, hopefully this month rather than last month, which is what we were looking for. 7p or maybe up to 8p at the top of that triangle that we've got there from the end of August could be on the cards over the next 4 to 6 weeks. Ideally now we stay above the floor of the gap, which is a good stop loss area around the 5p level. So above 5p looks like Helium 1 is back in play for the bulls. Another situation which is also looking like a decent setup is Inspiration Healthcare. Here we've had a bear trap below the floor of that falling trend channel from November, but bullish divergence on the much lower lows for October. Above that support line there, the broken support line at 33p, we're looking for the shares to head up towards the mid-40s and that 50-day moving average, hopefully over the next month or so. Stock which I don't think I've looked at for ages, if at all, is Kingswood, and here we've got a broadening triangle base off very oversold RSI levels, near zero actually, or maybe it looks like sort of negative RSI there. The current situation is that above the last week's support there around 14p, looking for the shares to head back up to 20p by the end of this month or even sooner. But the main thing here is that after that gap down we could snap back quite sharply. On to a situation which may be starting to turn around, and that's quantum blockchain. It was a bit of a star at the beginning of the year, but obviously since then has rather faded. Here we want to see a break back above 0.85 on an end-of-day close basis. We've got bullish divergence there with the lower lows for October in the price window, but higher RSI, and so looking for the shares to perhaps hit 1.2p by the end of next month if they break back above 0.85 in a sustainable way. A couple of stocks which are not for widows and orphans, maybe none of them actually today are for widows and orphans, but here we've got RC365, and we finally broken out of that falling wedge in place since June. Initial target here up to 40p by the end of next month, which sounds a bit optimistic, and maybe it is. But that is the trade that the technical trade looks as though we have, given the strong candles that we've had for the last 3 sessions and that turnaround in volume. Moving on to another stock which has been a rather hairy ride, Regtech, and here still waiting for the shares to break that line of resistance there. That one's in place since September, currently around the 36p level. So an end of day close above 36 really needed to get up to take the shares back up to 60p, but still rather early days yet. And obviously today's rebound may fade and we head off to new lower lows. Speaking of lower lows, we've got Safestyle, and here just the first sign of a turnaround with the bullish divergence going into today's move to the upside that the shares have delivered. The shares bounced off the 1.75p area. Above that, looking for a retest of last week's peak around 4p, which seems rather ambitious. Maybe initially one would just look for 2.5p, which was resistance on the way down. On to the last two. First one is Surface Transforms. I haven't looked at this for a while, but I think we had news today, and gapped up there, so it's a bear trap gap reversal, bullish divergence as well after the low lows for September, October. The view now is that above the recent resistance around 25p, we're looking for up to the upper 30s, so say 38p by the end of next month, although obviously it depends how the shares close today. Finishing off with a stock which I wish had that name for my company, Silver Bullet. Here it just looks like we're breaking out of this mid-move consolidation. Golden Cross started the month as well, and we said before, above £1 now, looking for up to £1.40 or even £1.45 by the end of next month. Beautiful turnaround there, and the shares have behaved very well from a charting perspective. That's it from me today. More updates tomorrow.